Good evening all and welcome to another video on All Hail the Ale. Tonight we're going from a brand new beer from the Titanic Brewery. It's one that I have been keen to try since I saw it announced on the brewery Facebook page about a week or so ago. Maybe a little bit longer than that, I'm not sure. Anyway, it is this one. It is the Anytime IPA. And Anytime IPA weighs in at a very sessionable 4.5% ABV, and it is listed as being hoppy, citrus and light, which is right up my alley. I do like them hoppy, I do like them with those citrus flavours, and I do enjoy the odd one or two, maybe a few more, who knows, it happens. And therefore the lighter ABV kind of appeals, you know, it makes it a little bit more kind of doable over a session, shall we say. And on the can is some very useful information. Up the top here you get some sight, smell and tasting notes, and you get a bit of an indicator on how bitter and sweet it is, and you get an IBU rating as well. So the sight is listed as blonde, the smell is citrus, and the taste is fresh, hoppy and refreshing. The bitterness is 4 out of 5, the sweetness is 1 out of 5, and the IBU rating is 4 out of 5. It says it's best served iceberg cold, on a hot day ideally, or by a warm fire. Well, it's a warm day, it's Sunday afternoon. And I've just had my internal fires stoked by a lovely roast beef dinner and a pint of plum porter. So I'm going to go get a bit of balance of pudding with the IPA. It says the tasting notes are a blend of worldwide varieties, create a smorgasbord of citrus and grapefruit flavour that lingers wonderfully to a balanced, refreshing finish. So there is your little bit of tasting information right there on the back of the can. And I do like the new style cans from Titanic. They fit well with the branding. It looks really, really nice. So, tiny bit of information about the brewery. It says that born and bred in Staffordshire, beer-loving brothers Keith and Dave Bott captain Titanic Brewery. They are fiercely proud that their beer is crafted in Stoke, a place steeped in industrial heritage. They've got loads of awards for their beers and they're very proud of them. But what matters most to them is when someone says, "I'll have another one of those, please." And being entirely honest, there's not a single Titanic beer that I've not said that. I've drunk more iceberg than I care to think about. Same with the plum porter, the cappuccino stout as well, all that kind of jazz. It's gone down very, very well over the years. And I'm hoping that Anytime IPA can be added to that list of excellent beers from Titanic. So let's crack it open and pour. I'm pouring into a Stoke Beer Festival glass today because it's about the right size for a 330ml can. Still a glass with Lemmy on the bottle kiln from 2017. Anyway, the pour is very pale. See if we can get a little bit ahead. Not too much, just a bit. There we go. So we've got a little bit left in the can. So that's your beer in a glass. It is, when I turn it around, crystal clear. It is very, very pale. It is paler than, say, iceberg on appearance. It looks kind of almost straw coloured, if you will. So you can get that up there. Yeah, you can see. You can just about see that through their computers changing the colour of the beer. It looks good. Let's have a whiff. I'm getting the grapefruit. I'm getting some bitter hops. Quite a bit of grapefruit, actually. And a sweet kind of malt on the background, but it's dominated by the grapefruit hop, and I like that. I do like a good hoppy beer. It's boding well so far. The head has dissipated quite quickly. I suspect that won't happen on cask. I hope to find this one on cask anyway. When the White Star and Co are open again, I shall be checking it out and just making sure. Anywho, smells good, looks good. Let's have a taste. What surprised me is there's a decent body to this beer. With it being so low in ABV for an IPA, I say so low, it is low in ABV for an IPA, and looking as pale as it did, I expected it to be quite thin. It's the exact opposite. It's got a good solid mouthfeel. Think it's almost as heavy as plum porter. If you're familiar with the Titanic plum porter, you'll know exactly what I mean. But what I'm really liking is that kind of savoury bitterness that comes through. It is grapefruit, but there's a little something savoury, and it works really, really well. I like the fact that it is bitter. I like the fact that it's really hoppy. It's got that lovely, it's true bitter for bitter's sake, and it's that real pithy grapefruit type bitterness. It's not a kind of hop bitterness per se. You know what I mean. If you've got like a Fuggles or a Styrian Goldings, that kind of thing, you've got that level of bitterness. This is more grapefruit-esque as opposed to a hop-induced. There's a touch of like that pine resin you get on the background as well. And it's only a touch, but it's there, and it complements the flavour of the hops really, really well. The body really still is surprising me, even now after a few mouthfuls in. The finish is bitter. It is nice and bitter, and that bodes well for me. I really do like a good bitter beer. As Titanic Pales go, I'm a big fan of Iceberg. If I look across the room just down there, I've got cases of the stuff. This will give it a run for its money. Slightly higher in ABV than Iceberg, slightly more bitter than Iceberg, different hop profile. Put it this way, if you like Iceberg as a pale ale, you will like this one. You really will. I do. It's very, very nice. And I'm praying that this one comes out on cask. At the very least keg. But I think on cask, get it pulled on that hand pull, give it a nice creaminess to the whole beer, and that would just be absolutely stunning. It tastes stronger than the 4.5, let me put it to you that way. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was a full-on sort of 6.5%, 7%er in terms of that oomph from the hops. Very nice indeed. Now I'm going to put that down before I finish it all off. And we're going to go back to the can and see if it delivers on what it says. The site is blonde. It is. There's no getting away from it. It is a true, really pale blonde beer. The aromas are citrus. I do get grapefruit. Maybe no sort of kind of the brighter, fresher, lemony type citrus, but definitely a nice big hit of grapefruit. And the taste, it says it's fresh, it's hoppy and refreshing. It is, but it doesn't mention that real bitterness that you get through in the tasting. I like that, and it would be really good to see that mentioned somewhere. When I put this out on YouTube and whatnot, I'm going to make a clear point of saying it in any written review that goes along with it. Sure, it does mention it's 4 out of 5 on the bitterness, but there's that oomph, that real punch of grapefruit that really deserves to be listed on there. The sweetness of 1 out of 5, yeah, totally agree. It's not sweet. It's a lovely bitter beer, exactly how an IPA should be. And the IBU rating of 45 is, yeah, it's warranted. You know, it is nice and bitter. Iceberg cold, served ideally on a hot day, totally agree. It would go down lovely. Or by a warm fire. Yeah, it works. You know, it would. The smorgasbord of citrus and grapefruit flavour that lingers wonderfully. Yes, it does linger wonderfully. I've still got that lovely bitterness from the last sort of mouthful that I had, to a wonderfully balanced, refreshing finish. Yeah, there's a little bit of malt that's coming through now. Now that bitterness from the grapefruit sort of hop is kind of disappearing and dissipating, there is that sweet malt just there, just to kind of give that balance to the whole pleasurable experience of drinking this beer. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. There are the hops listed. I missed that. Why did I not tell you this? The hops are listed as Challenger, Cascade Centennial, Nelson Sauvin, and Chinook. Interesting. Yeah, the Cascade, that makes sense. The big, heavy grapefruit from all of that. The Nelson Sauvin is a pleasant surprise. That's one you don't see mentioned in too many beers. That kind of Antipodean hop that seems to be making an appearance in a few beers nowadays. Yeah, the hops that are listed explain the bitterness nicely. And yeah, here we go. I've got to be careful because I've still got some beer in the can. The hops are listed in there There you go. I missed that up front. How did I miss it? I don't know. Anyway, it makes perfect sense. So, Anytime IPA. What do I think of you? Would I go and buy you again? Yeah, 100%. 100% I will go and buy Anytime IPA again. Would I rush out and buy it again? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. On my next Essentials run during this lockdown lunacy even, I shall be getting some more Anytime IPA. I hope to see it in 500ml bottles. I really do, because it deserves it. It deserves that lovely big 500ml brown glass bottle with a full-on label and everything. It deserves casking. It deserves to be casked and sent out to the pubs in the area in large quantities because it's that good. So yeah, I would rush out and buy it again. Can I find a chink in the armour? Only one. I haven't got any more. This is the only can I've got. But no, the beer itself I cannot fault. It's bitter, it's hoppy, it's local, and it fulfills its brief. It delivers on all the promises on the tin, and that is important. There are some breweries out there that make promises. Their beers just don't deliver. But this one, it's honest as the day is long, and it fits my tick boxes. It ticks every single one. So I cannot see any reason to not give Anytime IPA 5 out of 5. Hoppy, bitter, local, tasty, good value for money. Yeah, it's lovely. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, if you haven't tried it yet, let's be honest, there's not going to be that many of you who have. You really do need to. If you like them bitter and hoppy and you love your IPAs, Anytime IPA really does need to be in there, and it can be drunk anytime. Lockdown lunacy, a standard Saturday, a mad Monday, a terrible Tuesday. You get my drift. It can be drunk on any day though. It's lovely. It's just really nice beer. I'm waffling, so we're going to end the video there. Down there are some buttons. You've got the like, dislike, comment and subscription. Use any combination of them as you wish. Stay safe. This has been the beer. I've been Nick, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye.